welcome to ThinkTech Hawaii Business Education Spotlight. My name is Alice Li Hagan. My guests today are two participants from the East-West Center Changing Faces Women Leadership Seminar. Excuse me. Okay, so we have two guests, as I mentioned. So the first one is Michelle Yamaguchi. She is the co-owner and creative sales director of Kahala Fresh. And my second guest on my left-hand side is Natasha Lampard. She is the co-founder and director of Webstock. That's one company, and also co-founder and director of Lil Reggie from Wellington, New Zealand. So welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Great to have you here. Now, I don't get a lot of international guests, so you're actually my second one, so I'm glad to have you here. And Michelle, of course, it's great to have you because you are our local connection here.
Thank you.
I am really excited to talk to you because last year at around this time, I interviewed Liz Dorn, who is the coordinator of the East-West Center seminar. At that time, I mentioned to you earlier on, we didn't have a chance to interview the participants, so you're really, really special guest for us today. So it's a 2015 program, and I know that they launched the program back in 2002. Did you know that?
I did not.
Okay, so yeah, so they've had this program for quite a while, and I guess I'm just trying to give the audience a context because I went to your, I guess, open reception back on Tuesday, and it was an amazing event. So before we get there, maybe you can tell us a little bit about why you decided to come to Hawaii to join this program on women leadership. Maybe I will start with Natasha.
Thank you. So I turned 36 in December, and to mark the occasion, I wrote a list of 36 things that I wanted to do for the year ahead. And the theme of many of them was doing things that I wouldn't ordinarily do, that I wouldn't ordinarily put my hand up for, primarily due to insecurity or inadequacy or fear or whatever. And this really was an example of something I wouldn't have put my hand up for, thinking that perhaps I didn't have the skills or whatever. So I decided to just give it a go, not expecting that I would in fact get selected. I hoped that I would learn leadership skills and refresh and validate my thinking around entrepreneurialism, and most of all, connect with a number of other really extraordinary women, and it's been all of that and more.
That's amazing. I mean, I can tell when we came up to the interview, you two had such great rapport, you know, as if you've known each other for a long time. But coming back to your comments about you normally wouldn't put up your hands to do that sort of thing because of insecurity, I really don't see that. And I'm actually very surprised to hear
we keep telling her
that.
that same thing. Really? Really? We can't see it. It's not there.
Oh, shucks.
Now, let me go to Michelle. And before I do that, so this program called the East-West Center Changing Faces Women's Leadership Seminar, getting tripped all today. But anyway, so it started in 2002, and I know that they've had quite a lot of alumni, and I was with them last year. Again, an amazing group of women from, I think we had 12 different countries. But this time around, you have 15 of you from, again, across the Asia Pacific. And some of the things you've done would be like what, Michelle?
Well, first I wanted to give a shout out to our co-coordinators, Liz and Anne, because truly they've put together an amazing program. And I think as much as we enjoy being together, all the participants, we still, like, every day we're like, wow, you know, every day is a wow day in terms of what they've put into the program and how they challenge us and the amazing, people that they bring into the program. So I think that, is really terrific, and as are all the participants. And Now I've forgotten the question.
No, that's
Alice.
okay.
I'm so sorry.
You know, this is an amazing conversation, really. Usually it doesn't happen, but no, in a good way. I guess I kind of jumped the gun too because I want to know a lot more about you. So this is a 2-week program. So first week, I think you had some leadership training, and then you went to Maui, right? But really the question is, why did you sign up as well? Why did you apply?
Well, I randomly stumbled across it on their website, the East-West Center, looking for something completely unrelated. And I was thinking, boy, that sounds like something I really need, you know? And so I applied. And, you know, when you apply for a program like this, you fill out the questionnaire and you just send it off, and you don't know exactly what they're looking for. You don't know exactly why you got selected. You know, when you get your letter inviting you to be part of the program, at that point you're like, who cares? I'm in, you know, and whatever it was that they saw that they felt that, you know, I was worthy, I was just like, thank you, and, you know, and off I went. And you know, for 2 weeks. And, you know, I live locally, but I'm thrilled to be there because our days are so full and we get to interact on a completely different level that if I went home every night, I wouldn't get that additional time and, you know, with all the other terrific, unbelievable women that are in the program.
Now, tell me a little bit more about the program. I mean, we can go off in so many directions because you talk about your needs. You talked about something you would not do. So how is the program meeting that? Because obviously your group just clicked, 15 of you. So maybe first of all, tell us what a typical day is like. I mean, you've been through the program for over half of the program already, right? So what is a typical day like?
Well, we start typically with quite early, sort of a 7:30, 8 o'clock start, and really just get straight into it. So it might be that we'll have a number of invited guests, and they might be talking on anything from PR capabilities through to confidence building, communication skills and styles. Yesterday we did a lot of entrepreneurial exercises and thinking, finance, accounting,
marketing, social media. Yeah. Well, and I think as much as the guests sometimes end up being the facilitator, and then we're all talking to each other as well because we've gotten to know each other's businesses or organizations, and so a lot of it is playing off of one another as well. I mean, that's not to take away from the speakers and the guests that they've brought in because they've been terrific too, but I think that's what bonds us as a group too, is, you know, encouraging one another and supporting one another and giving each other the ideas. That I've loved.
I think we're all really we're vested in each other's success as well. I think that there is a real a real sense of camaraderie and a desire to see every single one of us achieve the goals that we've set and go way beyond that. And so, like at dinner last night, we were talking about one particular woman who's doing an amazing thing with recycled or upcycled crates,
pallets,
to create beautiful, stylish furniture. And we were coming up with like an entire direction for her business and like, you know, what can we do to support her? And I could talk to this person, you could talk to that person, and we could blog it and tweet it, and you know, and it's a real sense there of support, of deeply desiring success for each other. Which is very special.
It is. I can tell when I went even just to the reception dinner, meeting each of you, I can sense that. Now, the lady you were referring to, she's from Indonesia, is that
She
correct?
is, Intan.
Okay. Michelle, maybe you can tell me a little bit more about your current cohort. Now, Natasha, you're from New Zealand. You are our local connection here. There's somebody from Indonesia. Tell us.
2 women from Indonesia.
Okay.
Cambodia, South Korea, Afghanistan. Who am I missing?
From Mongolia.
Mongolia.
Which is
Cambodia,
really
Vietnam.
sweet. Mongolia, she has like this Russian almost accent.
A little bit.
A
yeah.
little bit, yeah, which is really fun.
Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia.
Sri Lanka, right?
Two from Sri Lanka.
Mm-hmm.
Hawaii. New Zealand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it, right? So you are a very, very diverse group. Do you all do things together?
Oh, we forgot Nepal.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Nepal.
So sorry.
Sorry, Nepal.
Sorry, Nepal. Ishu, we did not
Yeah.
forget you.
So they are watching, I hope.
I hope so too.
Okay. So tell us a little bit of the background of these women, because I think half of you are entrepreneurs, right?
I don't think anyone would have labelled themselves that before, but I think some people are self-identifying as an entrepreneur now.
Well, there's a lot of social programs and missions, but I think that it seems like they've learned through this workshop that you'll have more success and sustainability of your nonprofit or your social organization if you run it like a business. You know, you have to pay attention to all the same things that a for-profit does to be sustainable. So, you know, especially the younger ones with that social mission, it's really been great to encourage them and see them flourish and grow and understand that I can be sustainable and I can achieve and help other people. And it's okay to have that business mind and business element. And it's important too to have that part to, you know, be successful with those social missions. So, you know, we want to help them as much as the for-profit or actual entrepreneurial type businesses. Yeah.
I'm glad that you mentioned that, Michelle, because I know that you're trying to help other women to, like the lady from Indonesia, to give her some other ideas. But this is a good way to stop for our first break, because afterwards I'd like to come back to ask you the profession you were in before you applied to this East West Center seminar. So we're coming on the first break, okay?
Okay.
You are watching ThinkTech Hawaii Business Education Spotlight. My two guests are Michelle Yamaguchi and Natasha Lampard. Both of them are participants of the East West Center Changing Faces Women Leadership Program. We'll be right back after the break.
Aloha, my name is Miley Scarpino and I'm the host of the Empower Hour. If you're interested in health, nutrition, fitness, here on the island of Oahu, want to learn more about places to train at or different trainers available, then watch my show on Fridays at 3. We have a great time and I hope that you'll come join us. Much aloha, now go get swole!
Hi, I'm Jay Fidel. That's Ted Ralston. You know, Ted is the host of Where the Road Leads. It shows every Friday from 4 to 5 p.m. It's about technology. It's about how people collaborating and solve problems with modern technology. It's where the road leads. We all know that. We should all be listening. Join us there, 4 to 5 p.m. every Friday. Now, what about that do you agree with?
All of it.
I knew he'd say that. Aloha. Say aloha.
Aloha.
Good.
Welcome back to Business Education Spotlight at ThinkTech Hawaii. If you are just joining us, my two guests are the two participants out of 15 of them from the East West Center Changing Faces Women Leadership Program or Seminar. So to my left is Natasha Lampard. She is from New Zealand, co-founder of Webstock and director as well, right? And to my far left is Michelle Yamaguchi. She is also the founder and creative and sales director of Kahala Fresh. Now, the two of you, I can sense the energy. I just cannot imagine all 15 of you together. But I guess I'll see a little bit. I'll see a little bit of that later on when we go back to our Girls with Lay forum.
Gals.
Okay, so now you've talked about why you joined the program, how you felt about the program. So tell us a little bit about what you do when you leave the program, I guess at the end of this week. So maybe I will start with Natasha. So you're going to fly back to Wellington, New Zealand. And I know you've done a lot of great things. You started a lot of companies. I went to your website. I said, oh my gosh. So
you.
I'll leave
She's
it with
amazing.
that. I'll leave it at that and let you take over.
So what am I going to do when I return?
Sure, let's start with that.
First, I will see my husband and my 3 children. Then I'm going to start the launch of a new project that I'm going to unveil. This will have a very women's focus. As a woman, business person, as a mother, I feel sometimes like there are lots of duties and obligations placed upon me, and I find that sometimes I'm so busy trying to meet all of these obligations and duties that I'm left a little bit depleted.
Yes.
In my soul, So this new event that I'm going to launch is really a reflection of where I'm at now, and I'll have a number of accomplished, wonderful women speakers talking about a range of things from creative endeavours, health and wellness, achieving fulfilment in sort of all areas of our life, and restoring that balance so that we can try and do all of the things that we want to do, but without depleting ourselves. So that will be my first project.
Okay.
I have a lot of work to do with Webstock.
Tell us a little bit about Webstock.
So Webstock is an annual event that happens in Wellington, New Zealand. It started in 2006, so this year was its 9th edition. Next year is very special, it's our 10th anniversary. So we want to make that the best yet. It really started out of a passion for the web industry, for the magic of the internet and for those who craft it. It's really a celebration of them and of the web itself.
I'm glad you brought that up because I went to your website before our interview, and I really like that. It says annual celebration of the magic of the web and those who crafted it.
Yeah, and that's really what it is. I mean, we are, myself and my business partner Mike, we met rather serendipitously and just happened to share similar philosophies about the web and about the craftsmanship, craftswomanship of the medium. And we couldn't afford to fly all around the world to meet those who had inspired us to try and do the best work we could. So really Webstock was our way of sort of bringing the mountain to Muhammad. We couldn't afford to go to them, so we decided to start a conference to bring them to us and to bring together all of those that we really respected and admired in our local and international web community. And it started very much with a web focus, but the focus has now extended to sort of design, society, technology, doing the best work that we can. So I think really, I keep coming back to that word craft, but I do think that when we think about what we do as a craft, we want it to be the very best we can. And that obviously that's the ethos of Webstock, and it's also the approach that we take with Webstock.
That's incredible. I can even do a separate interview with that. Maybe I can get you back on via Skype. Now, you talked about craft, so let me turn to Michelle, because your work, even though it's very, very different from Webstock, but I love the word craft because you are
I have this little bitty food company.
well, I wouldn't say that.
I'm not on the global World Wide Web, but
Well, it won't be long.
And we're going to all crash probably her 10th anniversary. So
Michelle,
Webstock.
your work is related to crafts too, because and these are edible crafts, and I really love that type of thing.
you.
So tell us
Thank you.
how this came about, because I looked at your bio and you started the market at Kahala, Umeke Market, right?
Yeah,
so
that's
tell
us.
us the story
Yes,
behind
yes.
that.
Well, this was the result of what we had learned through Umeke Market, what people liked, what you could turn locally into healthy snack products that local people would like, tourists would like. So what I got out of the conference and what I would like to take home and use was my action plan. So part of the conference is each of us had to have an action plan, something that we wanted to accomplish within 1 year after leaving the conference. And so this is the culmination of the 2 weeks is the finalization of each of our action plans. And, you know, we've worked very hard and we've incorporated everything from the speakers to shared information from one another to make our products or our organizations as best we can and to take that action plan. So that's what I'm going to do. I really, you know, grow Kahala Fresh, and I've networked with the woman KJ from South Korea, and she has a friend who imports quality goods, and you know, she said, she might be able to repackage them to fit into the Korean market, which is also, you know, they're looking for healthy snacks and foods and stuff like that.
And the fact that it comes from Hawaii, it will have an added advantage, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But you know, Liz, the coordinator of the program, she would love you for that. You know, you're all talking about how you benefited from the program, but I guess my question is really, how did you start your company? And
Okay,
it's
okay.
more,
Well,
a little bit about you,
Yeah,
please.
okay. So, you know, I'm a foodie type person and I love to cook. I cook at work and then I cook at home. And so, you know, I have 3 children also, and I don't feel like there's enough health care for snacking and as well as for the tourists. So the product can, you know, fit both. In Hawaii, we all know that you have to bring a lot of gifts everywhere you go. You need, you know, you go to the mainland, you go anywhere, and you bring everybody a lot of gifts. So, you know, and you can't put more than 50 pounds in your suitcase anymore. So this is our dried pineapple, nothing added. It's just the pineapple. There's no preservatives. You know, so it doesn't weigh very much. So when you're looking for options, whether, again, it's locals taking gifts or tourists bringing gifts home, you can jam a lot of those in your suitcase. You know, they don't they don't weigh very much. And, you know, they take people, when we do a lot of sampling, we go to Whole Foods, and Neiman Marcus has a great sampling program. They were our very first customer.
That's great.
We did the APEC conference, which
Oh,
really
you did?
helped us launch the
Wow.
product. You know, just the timing, we did about 6,000 pieces for them. We have salts and then the fruits, and then Neiman Marcus picked us up. And so sampling helps a lot. Like, you know, people eat a piece of the dried pineapple and it's not dipped in sugar, and it's, you know, it tastes like pineapple.
It's delicious.
Yeah, and people are like,
Delicious.
wow, it tastes
Yeah.
like pineapple. And I'm like, well, it is pineapple, or it is the apple banana.
Well, I'm
you know.
glad. Of course, you probably tried out a lot
Yep.
of the different.
And I'm not biased either, I can tell you. It's an amazing product.
No, you two are amazing. Now, Natasha, go back to your point about, when I asked you that question or made that comment about a lot of the women in your group are entrepreneurs, but you said that before they joined, they probably don't think of themselves as entrepreneurs. You two are, of course, an example probably of that. I see two very successful women here with their own business, really busy trying to grow your own area. Tell us maybe some of the challenges. I mean, I see the success here. You talk about starting your a conference for women when you go back, and you're doing different things, maybe collaborating with this Korean contact that you have. So when you started your own business, what are some of the challenges?
Well, I think fear is probably one of the greatest challenges, really. The fear of failing, the fear of not meeting people's expectations, not meeting your own expectations. That's probably the biggest one for me. Financially, obviously, there are always challenges. Running events is extremely expensive. It costs almost $1 million to put on Webstock. And that's because we really strive for a level of quality. And if you want to do a quality event, you don't come out with much money. The fact that we love what we do, and we've done it for most of the time on a completely voluntary basis, means that our passion will always be the product, the service that we provide, and not the money. But nevertheless, things need to be sustainable.
Right.
There needs to be enough in order to keep going. I think time with 3 small children, finding the time to do things and do them well, because I do struggle with sort of perfectionist tendencies, and if it's not done well, I often hold it back, and then it means nothing's done.
Right.
So I am fortunate, though it is a weakness of mine, and it's something I'm trying to sort of control and mitigate. But I'm very fortunate that my business partner he's a get it done kind of a guy. So we balance each other out, because I'm sort of striving for this level of perfection, and he's striving for action, for things to get done.
Right.
So between the two of us, I think we're able to get stuff done at a certain level. But nevertheless, I mean, it still presents challenges.
Right.
But as we've learned, in every challenge there is an opportunity.
Yes.
That's right.
So-
And it keeps you going, and you kind of find other things to do, because
Yeah, I mean, with Webstock, I think one of the greatest challenges too is remaining relevant and continuing to exceed expectation. And sometimes the hardest thing is just your own sort of perception of that.
Yes, of
But
course.
nevertheless, it's what we're here to do. Our job is to serve other people, and if we're not serving them to a certain level, we're not doing our job.
No wonder I think Anne Hartman when she introduced you at the reception the other night, they were saying that Webstock conference is one of the best in the world. Now I can see why people
Thank
make
you.
comment like that. Now, Michelle, before we go on our second break, tell us about some of your challenges. Starting your own
Living
business.
on an island, if you want to export, and grow your market, that's a huge challenge. It's one thing to target your local market. Again, it's like Tosh said, it's remaining relevant. So for us, it's keeping the products fresh, introducing new products, for people to try, and you build that trust with them so they will try your new products. So part of our growth is outside markets, and so whether it's partnering with other people, or do we go to the mainland, do we go to Asia, have we saturated this market yet? That's one of the things is, okay, where are our opportunities here still as well? And I also have 3 children. Mine are teenagers, so not only do I have the company, but that's also a challenge.
That's another full-time job on its own, right?
Exactly, and we're all, women, so those are relevant issues to our businesses and to our lives as well, right?
That's a great answer that can kind of bring us to our second break. So when we come back, I'd like to ask you to kind of think of some of the takeaways from the seminar. Okay, that's great.
Okay.
My guests are Michelle Yamaguchi and Natasha Lampard, participants of the 2015 East-West Center Changing Faces Women Leadership Seminar. We're coming on our break, and we'll be right back.
Aloha, I'm Kili'i Akina, president of the Grassroot Institute and host on Ehana Kako, a weekly program on the ThinkTech Hawaii broadcast network. Ehana Kako means let's work together. Think of the sad alternative, let's not work together. Here in Hawaii, with all of our diversity and the richness of the people, it's important for us to come together around issues on the basis of what's right and what's good and what's going to serve the common good. And that's what we try to do at Ehana Kako. Every week, we interview movers and shakers, people in government, business, and other sectors of society to talk about how to create together a better government, economy, a better world here in Hawaii that can bless the rest of the world. I thank you for your attention to ThinkTech Hawaii, and we look forward to seeing you every Monday, 2 to 3 p.m. on the ThinkTech Hawaii Broadcast Network. We're Ehana Kako, and we wish you well. Aloha.
Welcome back to ThinkTech Hawaii Business Education Spotlight. This is Alice Li Hagan. Today, my program is about the East-West Center Changing Faces Women Leadership Seminar. If you have questions, you could also tweet us at ThinkTechHI. Now, Michelle and Natasha, we've talked a lot about the program, and it's just amazing that the program can bring together 15 participants with diverse background and from all these different countries. You talked about challenges of starting your own business. I guess, what are some of the takeaways from this seminar? I think you went to Maui and did a lot of other things. So what are some of the takeaways for you? Something that you didn't expect to experience before you came to the program?
I'll take that one.
Wonderful.
Well, we have not talked about the mentoring part of the program yet, which is terrific. You know, I met my mentor today, and we're going to meet again as soon as we can. And not only are we each provided a mentor, but we've also worked with Sacred Hearts, and we've mentored. So, you know, it's kind of a pass it down and share it kind of thing. So, you know, working with the young girls and, you know, seeing what their passions and interests are. One thing that really stuck with me, one of our guest speakers, she did talk about, you know, us bearing responsibility in where we are in our lives as women and our careers as women. And it really struck me that, for example, if women are applying for a job, we don't apply for jobs until we feel we have 100% of the skills to do a good job at that job. And do you know what the statistic is for men? 50%.
Oh, okay.
So if a man has 50% of the skills, he will go for that job, I guess, figuring I'm good enough, or I can learn on the job. And we wait and wait and wait till we feel we've acquired 100% of the skills, and then we'll apply. So ladies, let's apply at 50%. You know, I mean, and just to really try and go for it. And I'm not sure if it's fear or if we feel that we need to master things before we can go to the next level, and we don't.
But
you know?
Doesn't it tie back to, Natasha, what you mentioned earlier on your about your perfectionist streak? In some way, it's similar. If you can't do it 100%, you kind of hold back. So perhaps, I guess we're wired like that.
I wonder if we are, yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Or
think,
we just didn't know, right? We didn't.
I think that with knowledge comes power. So if we know
We
that
are empowered.
this is sort of a tendency of ours, and not only of ours, but our community, you know, our female community, we need to help them and say, you need to do this because you're awesome. And, you know, you may not have everything, but everyone else may not have everything on there either.
Right.
You're smart enough, you're brave enough, you're awesome. Just go for it.
And even if that one doesn't come about, the skills and the confidence that may come from just the application, just the putting your hand up and the trying, that may lead to something possibly even better next time.
And you are doing that right now. You are.
I hope so.
Yes, you are. I can just hear that. Now, tell me more about your mentoring with the students from Sacred Heart. What was that like?
Oh, it was lovely. It was a very special experience, I think. And I think really the thing that I got out of it, other than, I mean, just the sort of joy of being around these, you know, so much potential, was it reinforced something that I've heard a lot throughout the almost 2 weeks now, and that is the giving back. It seems to be just in the DNA of Hawaii that in all you do, there are always opportunities, and it's sort of a must to give back. And I've been so inspired by that. I certainly see examples of that where I'm from,
Right.
but I don't know if I've ever recognised it as being just so evident as it is here.
Really?
And I think that's something really, really special about this place.
That's interesting.
There is a real spirit of giving back and of abundance that it's not this sort of dog-eat-dog competitive. It's we can all rise up and we can all help each other to be, to do well. And I think for me it's one of many takeaways, but it's something that I really want to stay with me for a very long time, because it's a beautiful way to work. It's a beautiful way to live, to have those, that sort of, deep in your core.
Right. No, it's really nice of you to say that, because I think sometimes we live here long enough, we take a lot of things for granted. The ocean, the sunshine, we always have to be reminded of how wonderful it is here by visitors.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that for you, Michelle, you're surrounded by all these wonderful women, wonderful visitors. So what are your takeaway then? I mean, you mentioned your mentor. What else?
And if we can, talk a little bit more about the Sacred Hearts
Yes,
experience,
please do.
which I really loved. The young women were strong and brave and interested, and I had never really known Sacred Hearts, and it was really, I thought the campus was impressive, and Betty White, I would suggest her as a guest. She's the head of the school.
Right.
I'm sorry, that's probably not her official title, but it is a school, and she runs it like a business. I think she's a terrific leader, an example for the girls. And when the girls gave us a tour of the campus, I asked them, do you folks like Mrs. White? And the two girls on the tour said, we love Mrs. White. It wasn't we like her. They are inspired by her, and they love her, and they had some great programs, a beautiful new gym, a wonderful robotics lab at the girls' school.
Right.
The teacher was there. He was finishing up a summer school class, and I actually asked, do you offer adult classes? Because it just looked like so much fun. And the way the robots, the kids were, doing activities and stuff. So, it was a great experience.
Oh, that's great. What about your mentoring, if I could ask that? Now, Michelle, you talked a little bit about your mentoring. What about for you then, Natasha? Who is your mentor?
It was Denise from... It's in the YMCA, and she helps women with leadership programs. Wonderful, extraordinary woman. I think of her less as a mentor and more as a friend now.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Obviously she's a mentor as well, but there was just this. It's incredible how every single person that we've come into contact with through this seminar has been a very special person. I think Denise was just a shining example of that. I also met the lady from Dress for Success, which was a tremendous program. And again, just really reiterating and reinstilling that giving back message, which I think every single organisation that we've encountered has done something extraordinary for its wider community. And obviously there's been, money has been talked about, but it's been more to help and to share and to give. And
well, I hope that this would give you a lot of great ideas for your conference for women when you go back to New Zealand.
I think it will. In fact, I know it has. So
that's great. Now, what about for you, Michelle? You already said that, you're going to meet with your mentor again. So what was tell us about the relationship.
Well, it's kind of a funny one, actually. We share a graphic designer. So her name is Jill Nordby, and she has a CSA, the Community Supported Agriculture. So it's called Holo Holo General Store. And she actually has a parcel, a farm that she's starting up on the North Shore in Haleiwa. So Jill and I had met each other 6 years ago. And I met her briefly and she said, I need a graphic designer. So I introduced her to Marissa, our unbelievably talented graphic designer. So Jill and I are on sides and we share Marissa in the middle, but since the introduction, Jill and I have never seen each other again. So we keep communicating between Marissa, and it was so perfect. It was like, well, finally somebody got us together.
Wow.
And, you know, so we had a great day out on the farm, and you know, I just kept telling her everything I learned at the conference, and she should try to get in here next year.
And my wonderful producer just pulled up some of the products and are showing them.
Thank
so
you.
It looks great.
Thank you.
Now, with my last question, since there are only a couple of days left with your cohort, so tell us what's going to be, what are some of the things that you'll be doing for the rest of the week?
Well, we'll cry at the
I was
end
just
a
going
lot.
to say there'll be lots of crying. That will probably take up a significant
Yeah,
portion
I'm not sure
tomorrow.
that happens at men's leadership
Yeah.
conferences, but
No,
you
it
know,
doesn't.
Special, very special ones. Tomorrow we're presenting our action plans. So that, as Michelle was saying, is something we've been sort of working on and towards throughout the last 2 weeks. Today we have Girls with Gals
Gals
with
with
Lay.
yes.
So that I'll be presenting. Michelle, you'll be moderating.
So
There'll be a
there's
number of-
workshops, 2 sessions of workshops. Our
Yeah.
mentors are attending.
Yeah.
Our girls from Sacred Hearts will be there.
Wonderful.
and other
Uh-huh.
glorious, intelligent women from
Okay.
around
Glorious. I
And
love
actually,
that.
tomorrow is the last day, right?
the last day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want us to start crying
Yeah.
already,
No,
Alice?
please don't.
We may need to embrace.
So now, how do you think you would be able to keep in touch with all these ladies? What are your plans?
Well, good old social media will help. We'll also be emailing each other. I think already things like Facebook have been, it's probably the platform that most of us are
Right.
already familiar, very familiar with. So that's been used a lot. And there has already been some talk of some of the ladies, hopefully most, if not all, coming to Webstock next year. And then we're already planning our reunion,
Okay.
which is happening at Happy Guest House, which is one of our wonderful fellow participants' guest house in
From Cambodia, right?
Cambodia.
I hadn't heard that yet.
Yes,
I'm out of the
yes.
loop.
Well, now you are.
Wow,
So we have plans aplenty.
that's
I
amazing.
think we'll be firm friends for a very long time.
Well, I'm sure you will, given social media and the connection that you've made here. So first of all, good luck with your action plan presentation tomorrow.
Thank you, Alice.
It's been wonderful to have the two of you. This is a really special interview for me, really, because the energy is just amazing. I hope that we'll be able to keep in touch. But as much as you're learning things, bringing it back to work, I think you've enriched us here, really.
Oh.
Yes.
Yes,
Lovely.
you have.
Thank you so much.
We're learning
And
to
you too,
accept
Michelle.
compliments.
Yes,
This
yes.
was
Thank you, Alice.
So with that, I will say good luck, and I need to drive you back all the way to Eamon Conference Center right now, right? All right.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so
Thank
much,
you.
Natasha and Michelle. My guests are participants from the 2015 East West Center Changing Faces Women Leadership Seminar. You've been watching ThinkTech Hawaii Business Education Spotlight. Do join us next week. Aloha.